Hi, everyone. Welcome back to ELT in Brazil. I'm Bruno Buquerque. This is my partner, Walter Curti. And we're here today not for a course, but for a personal account of what Delta feels like and what it has been feeling like for the past couple, for me, for the past couple of years. Walter, how long are you in this Delta
This year,
journey?
this
The
year,
whole
the
year?
whole year. Yeah. Living and
Um,
breathing Delta.
yeah, so what you're going to see here, people, is not a prep course for Delta. It is not a tutor's perspective on Delta. It is really a personal account from Walter and myself on what it feels like to be a Delta student. So, are you ready for Delta? Roda a vinheta aqui.
The vinheta. Well, as Bruno said, I think it's very important that we stress that we haven't finished the Delta. We are both taking it. We're undergoing the process right now. So we both have module one. I've just concluded module three, but I still have to wait for results. Bruno.
Yeah, I did module two and I don't know if I passed. So take everything here with a huge pinch of salt.
Yes, because yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in the beginning, this is how this series is gonna go. This is the course introduction, but as you would call it, course introduction. But remember, this is not a course. We're gonna call it Delta Diaries because we are gonna be sharing things as we undergo the process, and we're gonna post in this series of videos. So we could say that it's almost endless.
Yeah. And the cool thing is, if we fail Delta 2 and 3, respectively, it's going
Yeah.
to be a course on how not to pass the Delta. So we'll just change the title in the future.
Oh, God forbid, man. God
Right?
forbid.
I
Can you
know. A lot
imagine
of
that?
work. Yeah.
Yes, yes, but yeah. Well, but we are going to start talking about something that we both did and that we passed and that we feel good talking about, I guess, right? So to begin with, what is Delta? Right? So I think this first video has to answer that question. What
Mhm.
is the Delta? Right? Well, Bruno, do you want to start or should I? Yeah.
You can go. You can go and
The
I'll
first thing,
comment along.
the first thing is Delta is not a course. Delta is a diploma. I know that you think, well, but CELTA is a certificate and there's a course. Yeah, okay, but Delta is not a course. You don't go because the thing is the whole CELTA experience is the experience that you take that course and you get a certificate in the end. This is not the same thing. If you enroll for the test of Delta Module 1 tomorrow and then you just go and take it, fine, you can do that. It would be crazy, but you could do that. The thing is, you are probably going to enroll in a prep course or Delta Module 1 because you have three modules and you take them individually and separately, right? Even though I think there are courses for people who want to take, I think the whole blended experience, and then you take the whole thing in one semester. Um, Depends on what you want, really. But
By the way, taking
hmm,
everything in one semester is probably insane. I
probably
think
insane.
it would
Yeah.
be very, very, very difficult.
Yeah. I took the
But
CELTA in like I took the online version and it was like 5 months, and that was a lot
mhm,
of work.
mhm,
I did work for five different schools at the time I was taking CELTA. So yeah, that was a lot of work. Taking
yeah,
the CELTA was hard. Yeah, it was difficult, right?
yeah. I would say it's doable if you get like a semester off of work and then
For the Delta,
focus
you
on
mean?
Delta alone, and then maybe it's doable. But don't think it's the best course of action. I think that there's a lot to take in throughout Delta 1
Well,
and 1, 2, and 3. So yeah.
I took module 1 while I was still working all those jobs I talked about. You did the same thing, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then you did what is the most advisable thing to do. I think you took one module and then you took a semester off and then you took another module. That's what you did.
Kind of,
Yeah.
yeah. Because it took me ages to prepare for Delta 1.
Mhm.
Let's talk about what Delta is, because maybe
Yeah.
people don't know what we're talking
Yeah.
about, right? Delta 1, Delta
Yeah.
2, Delta 3. Right. So
Anyway,
people might be
so
thinking, oh my God, there are 3. Yes, there are
yes.
3.
Yeah. Well, so you have 3 modules, and in the end, you get one certificate at the end of each module. And if you finish all the 3 of them, then in the end you get a diploma, which is regulated at level 7 in the RQF, which is the Regulated Qualifications Framework, which is part of the OFQO. I don't know how I could explain what the OFQO is, but I think it would be. I don't think we can compare it to what we have in Brazil, but let's say it's something that is responsible for regulating all the certificates and diplomas in not only in England but also because you have the NQF and the RQF, if I'm not mistaken. But because Delta is not only regulated in England, but it is regulated in the entire Europe region. So it's important to stress that. And it is, of course, accepted in organizations all around the world, right? And it is the most, it is the most, let's say, the heaviest diploma you can have as an English teacher. I think it's up there, right? Like,
Yeah, from Cambridge, it is the highest one, right?
yes, for teaching English as a second language.
Mhm.
So in a way that we can make it like, I want you to visualize that. So the CELTA is a credit, and you have a level 5 qualification that goes. It's the same as a foundation degree in England,
Mhm.
and that's a
Mhm.
level 5. Delta, on the other hand, equates a master's level in terms of content, and therefore it equates a master's level. So
Mhm.
you have an idea that you have to um, understand and produce up to the level of a master's
Masters.
level.
Mhm.
I think it's the best way I can explain it.
Mhm.
Bruno, do you have
Yeah.
anything to add?
Um, I want to add that though it equates to a master's level, it is not a master's, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it is not a master's degree. So when you finish the Delta, you don't have a master's, you have a Delta. They are separate
Different
things, right?
things. They're
So
different things.
if you want to
Yeah.
work at a university, it's not Delta might not be the way, right?
Mhm.
You should be looking for a master's and not the
Yes.
Delta, right?
Yes. And one thing, um, I don't think it's the kind of qualification that you would take if you want to work at a university, even in England.
Mm,
Not that I don't think, I am sure it's
mm,
not. You would
mm,
still be looking for an MA. The
mm,
thing is, it does count a lot.
mm,
It does make a difference. If you want to be, for example, a head teacher at a language center, like in England, I mean, you need to have a Delta.
mm,
You wouldn't stand a chance without it,
mm,
right? And there are many other jobs out there that you would need to have the Delta.
mm.
Like, but remember, it's something very specific for our field. And if you want to be like, well, man, like, I mean, if you want to be at the top of this career that you want to, like, I don't know what your aims or objectives are, but you probably will be looking into something like this. You probably want to take this. Yeah. But I do think that it's important to stress that the other qualifications are very important as well. If you have a CELTA, you are Cambridge certified, you can teach anywhere in the world, but it's just that this is it's
It's
not
the
one
next step,
step
right?
ahead, it's two.
Yeah.
There is like a difference in content. It's
Mm.
more complicated, I'd say.
Yeah. But still, the thing I like the most about Delta is that when I started hearing people talk about the Delta, I thought it was a highly theoretical course, and it is not. It's actually very practical. Even the theory part, it's very closely connected to classroom
So what do you do?
practice, right? To
Yeah,
what we do in the classroom, or to what you're going to do after you get a Delta. We're going to dive into module 1, which is the test
yeah.
in the next video.
Can I add something,
And
Bruno? I think it's you well, it depends on your background whether you consider this that theoretical, right? Because well, there is a lot of theory, but
mm,
yes, it is very
it is
hands-on.
very practical. Yeah.
Yeah, it is very
You're gonna
practical.
see we're gonna see that with more detail when we talk about the modules, I believe. Yeah.
Yes. For you out there watching us, you can scan these keyword codes on your screen right now, and then you can read a little bit about the Delta in the OFCO page. And then in the second one, you have Cambridge Delta information. That's from the Cambridge website. You scan, and then you will know a little bit more about the Delta as Cambridge tells you, right? And then this is a little bit of what is in each module. So module 1 is understanding language, methodology, and resources for teaching. So if you take the test, module 1 is a test. Your certificate is gonna say that you do well in those things: understanding language, methodology, and resources for teaching. Bruno, you took the module 2, so I'm gonna let you talk a little
Mhm.
bit more about that one then.
Yeah. Module 2, if you took the CELTA, module 2 will feel very familiar. Module 2 is like CELTA on steroids. What you get, you'll
I
be
love that.
teaching, yeah, you'll be teaching a couple of classes. I taught 6 classes. 5 of these were observed, 4 of these were assessed. And then, uh, just like CELTA, you have to produce very comprehensive lesson plans. And then for Delta, your lesson plans are even more detailed and even more comprehensive than the ones for CELTA. And you have assignments to write. So, for example, if you're teaching a lesson on, for example, I taught a lesson on writing, right? So my objective was for students to be better able to read and write a recipe. If you watched the last course, it's in the last session of that course. Before you plan the lesson on how to teach this lesson, you need to write a 2,500 word essay analyzing the skill of writing. And then you write this paper, this essay, and then your tutor is going to validate the essay, and then you plan the lesson, you teach the lesson, and you get feedback on the lesson, and you write a reflection on the lesson, and then you get feedback on the lesson. So
As
this
you
is the
can see,
package.
there's a
Yeah.
lot more in each package
Yes.
than what you would
Oh yes, it's a lot
encounter
of
in
writing.
finding in a Sultan. Yeah,
Yes, it's a lot of
it's
writing.
yeah, and I think there's one thing that is important to stress. I think there is like what's a Celta lesson. There is like a standard Celta lesson. There's no such thing for Delta. because as you need to understand more of this is the thing, this is the fun part about Delta. This is what I find the most interesting. When I finished the CELT, I was like, I wanted a little more. I was like, yeah, okay, so I can teach a lesson like that. Oh, okay, I understand the PPP, but you don't really know the why of things, or you never get to know, oh, this is part of these methodology, this is part of, oh, you hear a little bit of about the communicative approach, but you don't get to see the differences between the approaches and the methods and methodologies. You don't, and here you will understand those, because when you take the module 1, you have to study those things. You understand more about methodology, and therefore when you teach module 2, you can use any of the methodologies you studied, really. You're not
Yeah,
going to be teaching a
definitely.
CELTA lesson and that's it. Well, and then for
Yeah,
module 3,
now it's on you.
yeah,
Module 3.
now it's on me. Module 3 is the third part, but it's important to say that you can choose to take them out of order. So it is possible that a person took module 2 before taking module 1 or module 3, which they don't recommend, but it is possible. They always recommend module 1 first because it builds up to the other ones anyway. So you have two options: extending practice in EOT specialism, and then you have all of these options. Mine was LDT, language development for teachers. So you have to you have to have a group of students for that, and then you write a course for them. And the experience is like the whole module 3 is a writing assignment. So you have one part that you talk about the specialism, you have another part in which you do needs analysis and diagnostic testing, and then you start writing the course, and you write the course. That's the third part. And then and when you write the course, you have to talk about syllabus design a lot, for example. And then you have the assessment of the course. Even though you're not teaching that course, really, you need a group of people, or maybe you are really teaching that group, but they are not going to take this test. They're going to take the part in needs analysis, but not in here. And then you have a conclusion. But I'm talking about writing files that go up, like mine. Just the file, the first file in which you write the whole thing was about, I don't remember, but 38 pages. And then you have the appendices, and then that goes to another 40 pages. So yeah, it's like a lot of work here. But Bruno, I think if you get the module 2 and you put it in 2 pages, it might be even more than that, right? Yeah.
I think you get kind of the same amount. I think Delta 3, module 3, it's 4,500 words.
Yes,
The
that's,
core
you
of
have
the
word
text,
limit.
right?
You have a word
Yeah.
limit in each part, even though when you submit it, the word limit is just for the whole thing. Remember, when you say 4,500 words, you're not counting on any appendices, and in document 1 you do have appendices already.
Oh yeah.
So the whole course that you write, even though they're not lesson plannings really, is in the appendices.
Oh yeah,
So yeah,
the tests, the
yeah,
interviews, the needs analysis, yeah, they all go in appendices, right? So
in the appendices, yes.
yeah, it's 4,500, só que não, né? It's
Yeah, yes, yes. Yeah, well,
lots of things elsewhere.
absolutely. Well, it's fun because I'm about to start the part which you just finished, and you are about to start the part that I just finished. So that's kind of, it's fun. It's fun. Module 3 has another option, which is English language teaching management. That is specific for teachers who are looking to take different roles in the school. I can't tell you much. I don't know much about it. Right, Bruno? Same
Yeah,
thing, right?
I don't know. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't risk it.
Well, if you want to know what is in each module, you can scan this QR code. It's going to take you to the page on the Cambridge website, and then you see more of it. But what must you learn in each module? We are going to talk about module 1. And I think this is like actually a lot of fun, because this is when you see the difference. And okay, it is difficult, it is heavy, but it's just so much that you learn. I love it. I love the whole year taking it. But yeah, you gotta like to study. You gotta have fun reading those things, but it's just great.
Yeah.
Part one,
Can I talk about my experience here?
please.
When I first decided I wanted to take the Delta, I was living in Brasilia. It was around 2020 was a pandemic. 2019 I moved. 2018. So it was in 2018 that I decided to start preparing for the exam for Delta Module 1. And what I did was I would go to Brastiso conferences. I would watch webinars. I would attend colloquiums from Cultura Inglesa, ICBU, courses from Troika, courses from the SIGs at Brastiso. And I really think it helps, right? You will learn a lot. And everything that you learn in these spaces will end up being useful for Delta Module 1. I love the design of the test. We're going to look at it in the next video. But the test feels very fair, in which you're not going to be surprised by anything. It's very fair. You know what's going to be there. And it's English language teaching. So what I did was going to these sessions, to these webinars, buying the books. You're going to need lots of books. The books are expensive, so look for them at secondhand bookshops. And then read the books, study a bit every day or every other day. I took 3 prep courses for Delta Module 1 with very little pressure. I hadn't paid for the test, so I would take the course, study a bit, and then take another course, and then study a bit, and then take another course. And then that's when I felt that I was ready. And then I was like, okay, so now I can register for the test and take the test. Even though it's an exam and it's a very high stakes one, because it's like 1,200, 300 guys,
Less
I'm
than a
not sure.
minute.
You can decide when to take it, and we're going to look at the test in a minute, actually in the next video. So
Yes.
see you there.
See ya.
Yeah. See ya.